Hello everyone. This video is going to be a walkthrough of the CPT manual. Um, this manual is used in conjunction with the ICD-10 and the HCPCS manuals. And this manual covers procedures primarily. So just like the ICD-10 had codes for diagnoses, the CPT has codes for the services and procedures that you would be using to treat those diagnoses. Okay, so they really go hand in hand with the ICD-10 codes. All right, we haven't gotten into the HCPCS codes yet, but those are going to be products and services. Okay, so medical supplies, medications, stuff like that. All right, so I'm just going to do a very general walkthrough of this manual because it can get kind of daunting and overwhelming. But just like the ICD-10, we're going to take it one step at a time. Okay, so the good thing about the CPT is that there is only one publisher for it, and that is the AMA. And I'd bring your attention to this because it very well might be on your national exam. It was on my national exam. That was a question, who publishes the CPT? So it could potentially be a question on the national exam. But the other good thing about the fact that there's only one publisher is that you should all have the same book. So you don't have to worry about using a different manual than what I have because there's only one. Ideally, you will have the 2022 manual, but if you are taking the test here, you could also be using the 2021. It's not too terribly different from this one, so don't worry. If you are using the 2021, that's okay. But I will be using the 2022 for all the videos, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and open it up. And what you'll notice right away when you open it up, well, when you open yours, it'll probably, it'll probably have this weird little flap, right? It'll probably have this. And some people find this really annoying, and some people really like this because they can use it as a little bookmark. I do use it as a bookmark, but I still find it kind of annoying. So when you open this up, little bookmark, what you'll notice is there are pre-printed tabs. Obviously, I've already put some in, and I'll show you where. But this is super, super helpful because you already know which sections you should be tabbing and what they should say, so you don't have to make up your own. However, you'll notice there are some blank tabs in here if there are additional things you'd like to have a tab on, or you can always use your own as well. So if you find other things you want to put tabs on, you can definitely still use your own that you have for your ICD-10. Also, just like with our other manual, you can use your highlighter, you can use your pen, mark up the manual, definitely do it, okay? Into the meat of the book, I did want to point you to this inside cover. This is extremely helpful. This has a list of common modifiers. These are very important. And this little, cheat sheet here is very, very useful. So I just want to point it out to you. I'm not going to explain what all of it means or any of it really, but I just want to point out to you that it is here. Okay. Additionally, here you will see the legend for the symbols. Okay, so these are all the symbols that are used in this manual. I think the symbols for CPT are a lot easier than the ICD-10. There's fewer of them. But it is good to have this little legend there, okay? Then we can open it up. We will get into what everything means later. I do just skip ahead a bit. On page 10, Roman numeral page 10 is where there's a table of contents. I don't find this table of contents particularly useful, but here it is. There are section and chapter specific table of contents throughout the book, and I find those much more useful. But here is the table of contents for the whole manual, okay? There's a little introduction here that has some good information, but I'm going to skip it for now. On page Roman numeral page 24, there is the body planes illustrations. I find this very useful. This can be very, very helpful when we're talking about different procedures that are performed, maybe anterior, posterior, things like that. This can be really helpful and help you figuring out what is happening in a procedure. Okay, so I just wanted to bring your attention to it. On Roman numeral page 25 is where we have E&M tables. Anytime you hear me say E&M, I'm saying evaluation and management. Okay, that's what that means. So I wanted to draw your attention to these tables, but please do not get overwhelmed. Don't even look at them right now. Once we get into studying E&M, these will be useful to you and they will make a lot more sense. But I did want to show you that they are here. Right before page 1, you will see a blank page for notes. So this is so great because you can write section-specific notes throughout the manual. They are at various intervals throughout the manual. There are not a ton of these though, because you'll see why later, but our surgery section is our largest section, and there are not note pages throughout. They're just generally at the beginning or end of the section, okay? So there are a few of these though throughout the book, and they are great places for you to write notes. But I don't feel that CPT really lends itself to as much note taking as the ICD-10. I did want to show you that there are some blank pages in here that you can use, and you can definitely feel free to add your own tab if you do use those pages. Okay. So on page 1, the true page 1, this is where we are at the evaluation management, or E&M, table of contents. So remember I said the other table of contents was not particularly useful. Section specific table of contents are useful, and I often use them when I'm coding in that specific section. So I would go ahead and put your tab right there on page 1. And then you see I like my tabs to be cascading, so I'll put that one at the very, very top. So normally, well, in the ICD-10, I usually put my tab on the first page of codes, but like I said, I use the table of contents for actually coding. So I would just go ahead and put it at the first page there. Of course, if that doesn't work for you, go ahead and do what works for you. You'll notice that each section does have their own guidelines. They are very extensive. There's a lot of examples. There are a lot of details in these guidelines. Don't get overwhelmed yet. We will go through them, but I wanted to draw your attention to that. Anytime you see the green pages, those are guidelines, okay? And there's a lot of pages. So we really don't even get to our actual codes until page 19. I'm not going to put any tabs or anything on here. I just wanted to show you this is where the codes start. And then if you want to flip up to page 75, this is where anesthesia, the anesthesia section starts. Okay, so I would put a tab there as well. Again, when you go through these tabs, they're already pre-printed. They'll tell you exactly where to put them. Okay, but I just kind of wanted to show you. So I've got the pre-printed tab that says anesthesia. I put them at the beginning of the table of contents. Okay. Again, there are green pages that are the guidelines for that specific section. Then when you get to the end of the section, there's another notes page. Surgery section. Okay, so the surgery section is the biggest section of this manual. And there is a general surgery section that's quite short. And then the rest of the surgery section is broken up by body system. Okay, so things like integumentary system, musculoskeletal, cardiovascular, things like that. It's broken up within this this big surgery section. Okay, so you will have a tab just for general surgery, and then it will break up this whole big section by body system. So I kind of wanted to show you that. So surgery guidelines start on page 87. And it's a not too terribly long section. So here's what you could do. So you could put this tab here on page 87. You could also put it here on page 91, which is where the general surgery section is. It really doesn't matter because you'll see the general surgery section is very, very short. And then we get into, so here's the general surgery section. And then here we get into the first body system. So it's not even a full page really. Integumentary system starts on page 94. So it is kind of nestled in here. It's not its own new section, new colored bands or anything like that. But I kind of want to show you that does happen throughout the surgery section. Is it's not going to be a big title page. It'll just be a new body system right there. Okay. And then I put my tab here on page 95. Okay. But then you'll have sections like musculoskeletal. It starts on 131. That's going to have table of contents here, and you can go ahead and put your tab at that table of contents. So for most of the body systems, they will have their own table of contents, not blended too much with another section, but occasionally they will be nestled in there like that integumentary was. Okay, I'm not going to go through each one of those, but I did want to point out as well, actually out of this section, you'll have pathophysiology or pathology and laboratories on 575 and medicine as well. And you'll see medicine's on 717. So I put mine on the guidelines and I want to put it on the table of contents, which is 713. So if you want to put it on the table of contents, that's fine as well. And then you'll have some appendices and category 3 codes and things like that. There are, as I said, pre-printed tabs. So go through, use all of these tabs up, and put them in each relevant section. And then also I wanted to point you to the index, which is on 1027. So remember we had the alpha index in the ICD-10. We do have an index for this manual as well. It doesn't work the same way, and we're not going to code the same way, but it is here. And then there is an index tab, and that's the only one that I put at the top generally. So if you'd like to do that, you certainly can. So that is what I wanted to show you to start. I know that probably seems really overwhelming and also like not nearly enough information. But I don't want to get too far into what everything is. I just wanted to give you kind of a little overview of how the book is laid out. I will finish putting these tabs in, and then I will, like I did with the ICD-10, I will write a list of what pages I put tabs on. Okay, and I will post that for you. So that way you will have it and you don't have to watch me go through and put each individual tab in there. Okay. I did want to show you that and draw your attention to, again, those very important parts, which is where the symbols are, where note pages are, where table of contents are. If you've got that figured out right now, you're good. Okay. You are golden so far. All right. I will make some additional videos walking through some more of these specifics. And then we will start with E&M. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Bye-bye.